First on the agenda is to ask if there's any additions to the agenda or changes. And I know we do have to approve minutes, so we need to add that on the agenda. If nothing else, we'll need motions to add that.
I'll make a motion.
Phil made the motion, Jessica seconded the motion to add approve.
For last week's too, 'cause I don't think
I
we did
think it's
this last week.
two
Right.
minutes.
Right, there was one time.
Any more discussion? If had none, all those approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those don't wanna approve, say nay, so we're at that. So, we'll put that in when we get a little break in the agenda. So the first on the item on the agenda is the Opera House public hearing for grant review. Oh, so this is a public hearing. Okay. Public hearing for grant review of Opera House fire inspections report. Forget about that.
You said you wanted to go over that.
That's
again.
the second item, yeah, the grant review is number one. And the fire inspection is a total separate item.
Yeah, public hearing for the
Yeah.
grant review.
So here's for your records, so you notice. The public hearing. And that's for your records. And this is the budget.
What did you have? Did you have the? What were you handing out? Just for
Oh, just the newspaper
The
notice
newspaper.
that warned it.
the- Okay, so yeah, we just, warning, then hand it to the clerk.
Okay. Here's one for Pierre if you want one now, if you give him that stuff. And then here's the resolution that we're gonna want signed in the end. And, actually you can sign two and then you can keep one, give us one, just sign it. So, the resolution, is for, I don't know if you wanna read it out, maybe,
Resolution for VCDP grant application authority, single applicant.
Yep.
Whereas the applicant is applying for a grant under the Vermont Community Development Program, and whereas it is necessary that an application be made and agreements be entered into with the state of Vermont, now therefore be resolved as follows. One, applicant possesses the legal authority as defined in the State Act 10 VSA 683, parentheses 8, to apply for the grant and to administer the program. And two, that the applicant apply for a grant under the terms and conditions of said program and agree hereby enter into certification as administrator of. I'll just wait a minute as Pierre's joining us now. So we just barely started and we're just going over the resolutions for this grant here. Number 3, the applicant has a duly adopted and current municipal plan, April 2020. And that date adopted and that the project is consistent with said plan. And 4, the applicant has received documentation of the Regional Planning Commission that the project is consistent with the regional plan. And 5, that is hereby authorized to be contact person and as such to provide on behalf of the applicant all documents and information necessary for the completion and said applicant, and to provide such coordination as may be necessary for said application, and the name, title, who is either the chief executive officer as defined by 10 VSA 683, parentheses 8, or as the town manager, city manager, or the town administrator is hereby designed to serve as authority, authorizing official for the grants management online system and telegrants. Just give me a second. And 7, that is understood that if the application is funded, the recipient of BCDP funds as federal funds passed through the state of Vermont may require that an audit of the applicant be conducted under the provision of the Single Audit Act as amended, and that BCDP funds may be used to fund only a limited portion of the audit costs. This is 21st day of March 2022. And in the bottom of the above resolution is true and correct copy of the resolution adopted at a meeting of the legislative body held, which we are now holding right now, so it's not quite official yet.
Right. So we need a person to manage the grant. And I think that person's gonna have access to yours.
Well, yeah, I guess what we would have to do is just determine, it sounds like the money would all come to the town. We would bring you the bills, have you pay them, and then you would reimburse them, so that the money is given back to the town. Which is the way Regional Planning Commission explained it.
To be a wash, you guys would be the wash. The money would come in, the money would go out, the money would come in from the grant. Vermont, your planning commission has submitted a letter of support, the chair, Shelley Draper, and then Greta Brunswick is submitting a letter of support saying it meets the regional plan. Basically what this is to fund a full assessment of the building, the mechanics, the structural, everything, and what is the long-term needs and assessments, put them into a like a final estimation form, so that when other grant opportunities come up, you've already got your preliminary assessment, you know exactly what you're going out for, so you're grant ready for a grant. You're paper ready for a grant specific to different projects. So the end result of this could be the culmination of many projects coming forward in the future, not one grand scheme unless, you know, of course, somebody won the lottery or something, but we could take bits and parcels out. We could take air conditioning and heating. Something comes up for big improvements on that, we've already got it assessed, and we've got our needs and our limitations already put down on paper and what we need, and there you go forward and you take advantage of whatever it is that comes across your desk. Right now there's so many grants and monies and efficiencies and things out there. I think the timing's really good if we get this. It's a competitive grant, we might not get it, but it would really put us in the ready, set, go position for grants that come across. We keep trying to scattershot and hit this and that and the other thing, and this would really help put things in line and priorities. And it's also looking at a site plan for improvements, including the parking lot, which I know there's been a lot of discussion around that, drainage, etc. And this includes some of that, correct?
And water penetration in the building.
Yep, and that's an ongoing issue. I mean, hopefully that, no pun intended, floats to the top, because we had a facility meeting the other night, because we had water in again. It wasn't majorly, but we did. And it's the ground pressure water, and I found the walkthrough I did, I think it was with last Genghis and Matt Stebbins. I recorded it and we walked through, and he talked about the curtain drain. We've had this conversation before. A berm and all that stuff, and we did get discussion at that point with Gary Denton about helping out with equipment and whatnot, so I will be coming back to you on that particular issue, even despite whatever happens with this grant, because it's just something that has to happen preliminary before we can do such things as tear out carpets and all that stuff. So I also gave you a budget thing in front of you. And it spells out the items and the expenses. There is a match, part of it can be in kind. So the maximum financial match would be $6,250, but we think we can do this, or the whole $5,000.
We can do up to 5,000.
We can do up to
in kind.
$5,000 in kind work. So, all the work that we're doing after preparing for the, can't take preparing for this, but all the other stuff, we can do whatever we can, and that would be acceptable for in-match kinding, and we could do like, we'd set an hourly rate, we'd track all our hours, and put that in submission up toward that 5,000. So the, match could be as much as 6,250, or it could be as little as 1,250.
Now, years ago, just so I got on the board, they had done some sort of assessment with that building, and
You remember that one?
So back in like,
so some of that can, if you don't get the grant, or if you do, probably can be combined, because some of the stuff
we have some
is gonna be
ideas.
been done again. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about the depth of the wall and how much insulation.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
already know all that.
So like 2008 or 9, they did kind of a full insulation type thing, and we did make some improvements off that list. We got the sheetrock up there and certain things, and then under Matt's oversight, we were able to get an assessment on the ADA compliant front door, side door thing. And they came up with some ideas as well, so we have had some things done. And the other nice neato part is, in building this budget, we had to go to consultants to get that, that figure. We didn't just pull that out of our head. And one of them is Banwell Architects, and they did the original renovation in 1999, 2000, the major, so, not that we know that we
What
would
was the
use
name
them or
again?
not, but, you know, if we did,
Ban-
maybe get a little
Banwell?
price break.
Is it BANWEL?
Banwell, BANWELL, Banwell. Yeah. So am I missing anything?
Just that we, the Opera House, before Polly left, she created an account for the Opera House to be able to write, but the
And we're
town,
passing it on to this young man, I think we said last meeting, wasn't
Yep,
it?
that's Gary.
he'll do the contact.
But she needs to
Nice.
get access to be able to do it. Right, still waiting for access.
So, yeah, there was, when Polly was leaving, it expired, and then she renewed it, but when I went in, we still can't get in, so.
I'll contact her tomorrow.
Okay, cause she's done all the work offline, now we need to open up that portal and start
Plug it in,
plugging it in, and there is a deadline of
April 12th.
April 12th.
April 12th.
Yeah, we don't wanna wait till April 10th.
No, she's not feeling well, so I'll,
Polly's on?
no, she wasn't feeling very well, but
Okay.
I'll contact her tomorrow.
And, anyways, I think it's really good to have, we've done such, you're right, Larry, we do have stuff stashed here and there.
Yeah, I
Jim
just didn't know how in
Cameron and
depth
I-
this is, but
Yeah,
between the two of them, you
Yeah.
get to get a good picture of the whole,
yeah,
whole assessment.
and really have a plan other than, you know, we always talk about, you know, take the painting, for example, of like, let's do a side a year when it starts needing it versus, oh my god, now we're gonna do the whole thing. It'd be nice to have, we can look 10, 20 years down the road of what we need to do. And so that's what we're hoping with this. We were encouraged to apply for it by other, grant people, saying this would be a really good thing for you guys to do. It fits really well, so, you know, well, how that comes down to decision time, but we're hoping. And this is the same grant that we were trying to do last year. We didn't make the deadlines.
Yeah, Sean was
Yep,
trying to, we won't go there.
yep.
Okay. So you need a
We-
grant manager assigned.
We need, approval of the resolution. We need, you guys to sign probably both documents, so you guys can keep one and we'll submit one to the grant. And then someone who is the go-to for the grant. And I don't know, it could be one of us or it could be one of them, right? For that contact person?
Well, there has to be one from the Opera House as well as from the town.
Okay.
Who you want to be the point
Well-
person for the project.
Well, that's what I don't know if Pierre's gonna have to be dealing with the portal, if that's anything line that you want to try to handle, coordinate with or not?
Try,
Or, you know, maybe Polly can still help us out
yeah, guide me through it.
through it.
Basically, we do the heavy lifting on our end, communicating with the consultants and the vendors and whatever, and then running them to you guys for, this is where we are at, fits into this point here,
Mhm.
and keep track and make sure that we're staying within the envelope of the budget. But because it's not a nonprofit, it has to be a municipal applicant.
When do you find out, like if you were selected, is it pretty close after?
It's in June.
Oh, June, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That'd be
So in April, we submit what we have and then they can come back to us for like a month and ask more questions, ask for more
good.
information. And then, the committee that reviews them meets in June.
Alright, so we need to, we're gonna go ahead with this, we need to approve this resolution. So I need movements if we're gonna choose to do so.
I'll move. What are we actually gonna call this?
This is,
VCDP,
Yeah.
planning grant.
Yep, Vermont Community Development Planning Grant.
I'll second.
But this is a one-time shot.
Well, if we don't get it, well, maybe we'll try again.
Yeah.
there's one that they,
Right.
Sean started, tried to do
Right,
last
right,
year, now
right.
it's cycled again. So Phil made the motion, Jessica seconded the motion to adopt this resolution. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alright,
All those opposed say nay. Alright, so the resolution has been adopted, so. So would this be the town of Enosburgh versus name, or,
No, your name and title.
oh, so that, where do
No. Right, if that's gonna
I,
be the
this is
point
clerk's
person?
signature down here.
No. It's right here.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So,
there's
Yeah,
yours.
then the rest can sign here.
Right, you guys.
Oh, then we would
do
sign
all-
in
yeah,
here,
all of
okay,
us sign
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like, this is where Pierre's
So-
name goes as the point person, right? As the point person?
No, it
No,
says-
it has to be,
It says chair.
The chair.
Title, like chair.
So this will be,
and then,
Yes, the chief executive
so
officer.
that's gonna be Larry.
Yep.
And everybody signs
And then
here,
all of you sign
and
there.
then this is for Billy Joe.
Yes.
Are you-
Yes,
Yep.
please.
There we go.
you said you had a second one?
It's right in front of Phil.
Oh,
So while you guys are doing that, I will update you on the fire marshal report. And I'll just go by the numbers. Everybody got my email that I sent to you all? Okay.
yeah,
So the only outstandings, the 1 and 2 is done. Chris just found some wood and did it, so there's nothing, no expense there. 3 and 4, the LED replacements, emergency lighting repair, and the number 10 master electrician. I did got a bid. I think probably a right in line with something else you've got, but I'll give that to you to pass around and give down to when you make a decision on that. And I asked on that one for LED replacements too. So on that one, I might be able to get a grant for that. So when we decide, I'll submit something in and see if I can't get that covered, so it doesn't have to come out of our line.
You,
5, 6 are all done, 7 is done.
I'm sorry, number 4, you said a grant?
3, 4, and 10, the
3, 4,
electrical
and 10,
part.
okay.
Well, maybe not the 10, but he included it in one bit, but the 3 and 4 definitely is emergency lighting. 5, 6, 7 completed, 8 completed. 9, the curtains, he gave us some time on that. We reached out to the lady who custom made those curtains. In 2013, she retired. Despite that, she has gone through her papers, found the manufacturer, reached out to the manufacturer of that cloth, because she only uses that
Right.
thing. She does this for other ones. I mean, I'm 100% certain there, but we have to prove it. So she hasn't really been getting a response. I asked Kim to have her give us the manufacturer information, and we'll pursue them to try to get an answer on that. If not, we did order some spray that the fire marshal looked at and said was okay. I'm not sure what is in that spray, and I'll probably look for someone to come in and spray it versus, I'm not climbing up the ladder and spraying that stuff, I don't know what it is. You know, someone did that, but we'll keep following through that, because I think if we can get the proof, then we just need to get the little thing stamped on all the curtains.
were you with him when he
Yep,
came here?
the second time
But
around.
nobody from this board or your Friends of the Opera House was there on the initial one. And that's something that should have happened.
And I mentioned that, you know, it would be appreciative if they wanted to come in again. Certainly we understand they have that authority, but it would only be helpful for us to be there so we know exactly what they're looking at and work as a team. I got mixed ideas of how that happened, but anyways, he did listen. He was good to work with. His name was Jeff. Brian, yep. Number 11 is done. John Mercy went in, put his stamp on those. I still have some chairs to move out of the electrical panel room. Easy peasy, something for me to do. That needs to be done, I'll get that done. The only thing you will need to purchase is probably some round handrails. I'm sure Sticks probably carries them. They're just the standard round here, and Chris can slap those up. That is only to the attic. All the rest of them already have them. And we are using that horseshoe handle, which is totally legal, for the double doors on number 14. That's a major project. Quite a few years ago, Ben Weed looked at those sets of doors, and it's very expensive to rebuild them. Kind of looking at maybe ADA money and other things to get that done, because it's, at that point it was 7,000 per set, probably closer to 10,000 per set. And the set is the one upstairs and the one down front. But the one down front also, there were some options around a vestibule and things to maybe handle the snow load, and we've got to dig in that one because of historic,
Integrity.
you know, strings attached to that building on what we can and can't do. I mean, they can't prevent us from being safe and have our doors shut, but we need to look into that. And then I have to go upstairs, sweep away the insulation over where the bars are installed, and take pictures of that. I'm sure when Banwell came in 2000, they secured these safely, but now I gotta show pictures that they did.
That they're there.
So.
Yeah.
And there was some stuff on the stairs that I cleaned up, and we got all that cleaned up before our event on Friday, so. We're in pretty good standing with that. I'm gonna send Jeff all the pictures I have. He might wanna come back again, I don't know. Obviously, we'll need to let him know when the electrical stuff is done.
Did he give you a report of the second
Second trip?
trip
No,
in
he,
February?
I invited
Is
Greg
this-
Lamoury to come as well. And so Greg and Jeff and I and Chris walked through over all these points, and he was a little more helpful with description of exactly and things, and some of the things were just kinda in there, but they weren't necessarily tick marks, they were more of you should versus you have to, and
Yeah, cause that's what I'm wondering, what the report should show now. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is all we got to go by right now.
yeah, so
If he's changed his mind on
I
how well
will
we need to do something, it needs to be,
ask him if he can, like, understanding we're still reaching this curtain thing, give him an update. I was a little busy after, cause we saw him Thursday and our event was Friday, so today's Monday. I will re-update this list, send it to him along with pictures of all the items, let him know that we've received bids on the electrical and that we're still looking for the curtain information, but we're on it. That's really the only thing, everything else is done.
was this, I saw an electrical one here, was this one of the bids, or?
I
was
just-
this-
You
I
had
did-
the other one
You've
last
got two
week.
now, so you
Okay.
can,
It was almost
Sure.
22
Yeah.
something, I think.
Yep, 2,200. Oh, that still has Rachel.
Yeah, I've got one in here somewhere.
and that's the update on the fire marshal visit. I agree with you, Larry, I mean, this kinda segues into something,
Well, that's, it should, we've got no information, it should've came right to BJ, should've been right here, and none of us knew. And Greg should've said something, at the instant that he was going through that building, because how do we know what actually is taking place?
right,
And,
right.
but anyways, it's something that we'll have to take care of down the road, and
It's
Try to
tough,
get
but
the-
it's really tough, I wanna put my phone number right up there, please call me when you enter the building, just 'cause I live right around the corner. Today, I had somebody else in there, and you ask them to call ahead of time, you don't call ahead of time, so then I happen to know that they're there. But it's tough,
and it also, I think, helps the discussion going forward, because if you get two people,
right,
and
somebody
they
thinks,
may be
yeah,
talking about something that's not even, shouldn't even be looked at, but then all of a sudden it gets looked at, and if you got a lot more years that actually own the building and work in the building.
as I was looking through
Should've been processed.
paperwork and stuff, I came across some verbiage around a memorandum of understanding, and Sarah is gonna help, and I didn't know if there was anybody on the board who wanted to help sit down and say, these are some things we should have in there, because we are in there all the time. We could, it could become our true responsibility versus an ethical responsibility of managing the facility in the way that, making sure that, John has been in there and checked, and there's a water leak, somebody's on it, somebody's checking regularly to make sure the boiler doesn't shut down in the middle of winter, making visits and whatever. That type of thing, the expectation the board has of us, and the expectation or the understanding of the responsibilities the Opera House has to the town and village. It might be nice to create, like I said, a memorandum of understanding. If somebody on the board wanted to pitch in on that conversation, let us know what your concerns are, we could get all these things, spelled out, so there is good oversight, and it is a team approach. This latest visit, no fault of us or you, just kind of exacerbates the need of communication and being a team approach.
Yeah, we kinda started discussing that last week and coming up with something, and it should be handed out to all department heads, so all members of all departments have that in front of them and know, I am not okay to go in here until I have the approval of.
Yep.
And then at that point, it should've been directly gone to our town clerk, and that's where it should've started anyways.
Yeah, and then we really wanna be that next step of information, because we're in there every day, we know what this switch is for that, and that for the other thing,
Yeah.
and, what might be helpful to know.
It's just like a house, and you rent it out.
Yeah,
Both parties need to be there.
Yeah.
And neither works.
we just asked David Stetson to be on our facility committee, cause
Okay,
he hasn't been involved for a while, but he really has a knowledge of that building as well. I mean, he needs to be brought up to speed, a lot's gone on since his family was very involved, but they were very involved during the renovation. They have historical knowledge, they might know, like, I wonder what's behind this wall. They might actually be the ones to know, so, he said yes, he would be on that committee, and that's great, so. We did meet the other day, and, like I said, that drainage issue is right at the top of the list. But that'll be another day, so.
Yeah, it's usually this time of year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And we've got new ideas around why it happens right where it does. I think that's where they brought all the conduit in to the building underneath the slab. You know, you have a point where everything comes up.
Mm,
I think it's kind of that weak point,
yeah.
and the water fills in wherever and it
Frost water.
comes right up. It's right underneath the wall, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think what Larry was saying too about the paperwork, as you do the different parts of, you know, his report and it gets updated, that would be good to know. Because, you know, the third page, occupancy status at no, level 3, so it just would
Yeah.
be good to see
Yeah.
those as you
Yeah.
progress.
I kind of thought he would send something.
Yeah.
Because he
I'd like
said,
to
yeah,
see.
you're okay to go, but I thought he'd send
Okay.
something official.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so he did give the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, that's why he was there Thursday.
Okay, I just didn't know if he put
Absolutely.
anything in paper either, like as far as what
Yeah.
else has to be, you
He
know.
didn't add to the list.
Okay,
All we
that's
did
good.
was cross off the list
Okay.
of things that we already done.
Well, that's
That's
good.
positive.
And then they stood around talking, and literally swept the sidewalk until they left, like, okay, go, come up with another thing.
Alright,
So,
sounds good.
I'm going to update this, I'll send it to all of you, and I'll send it to him, and see if we can't get an updated report with a much smaller outstanding list. Anything else around?
Do we wanna identify somebody as a
That's a
point
good
of
idea.
contact?
Is that something we can discuss to see who's, is that like, Pierre, you're the point of contact for the
The grant.
grant, okay. And this was for, I'm sorry, this was.
Just kind of just spilling out ideas on what could be in a memorandum of understanding between the Friends of the Opera House.
I don't mind doing that,
Okay,
Sarah, if you.
So it's, I think mostly like facilities management, nothing really beyond that
Okay.
at this point, so we can just.
Just a mode of
Yeah.
Even
getting
FaceTime.
information together.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Whenever you're.
Yeah, we definitely, you know, that's what we discussed, because, you know, we're always, this board's gonna be changing all the time too,
As
and
will ours.
we've never had anything in writing from way back, and I think we need to get that
The
going,
last
so then
one,
it can keep
that I
going for
found
whoever
was-
is on either board or.
a different group even, they created another group way back when, to look into the feasibility of fixing the Opera House, so prior to 2000, they had this other group that the board vested authority in to go and look and see. And then apparently they came back, said yes, and you know, then they did it, and then Friends of the Opera House came into being to occupy after the major thing,
Oh,
so
okay,
that's what kind of gave me the idea, I was like, oh, this would be helpful.
yeah,
Does that need a motion for me to work with Sarah or be the point of contact or?
I think you could just
Just-
do discussions and
okay.
come back with something
Okay.
in front of the board.
Yeah,
Sounds
Our
good.
next meeting will be April 4th, I think.
thank you very much, and then a total different note, am I still in my time slot?
Yeah,
So, we.
Done a metric minute.
Pierre can help me out here a little bit, as can David and Sally, so we'd like to be, Citizens of Enosburgh, would like to be on the next agenda. Sometimes referred to as EI, but I'm beginning to resent that title, but, so we would love to have you guys and the village trustees set a common meeting time to talk about and entertain the idea or even discuss around a municipal manager position. We were having a talk one day and it was looking at how the village they have their board like you do, they have their employees like you do, but they also had a manager who was helping do the day-to-day tasks that you guys are all trying to do besides the stuff that Billy Joe does. You're trying to do it here in your monthly meeting or your bi-weekly meeting, and wouldn't it be efficient for you guys as well as opening up that communication portal with the trustees without causing upheaval between taxpayers with a merger. All the tax bases stay the same, you still have your boards of authority, but you guys share a manager that oversees everything and communication, maybe equipment, I don't know, it just seems like an efficient conversation, and
Yeah,
I'd like to have that discussion.
we've talked about, possibility of getting our own manager. I don't know, that'd be quite a task for one person because you've got the electrical light plant too.
Well, it makes sense to make that a department, doesn't it?
I have I have my thoughts about that, and I think if at some point, if this comes into play, then I think what should happen is there should be an assistant to that manager to take care of the power facility. And then the general manager would basically oversee everything. But the day-to-day operation of the power would be taken care of by that
And I think
person.
though, I can't speak for the whole board, but we don't even have a manager, and to go that direction, I think you need to have, like we used to have, you had 2 zoning administrators and you had everything working and then at some point, then you could bring them together. I think you're gonna have a huge mess if you try to go everything together in one shot.
Legally, you can't anyway. You can't share a manager without forming a union
Two,
to
okay.
merge.
So,
You can't share one because it's kind of like a conflict of interest. That's from the League of Cities and Towns.
So Woodstock and
You can form a
Ludlow?
union and bundle yourselves together, but you can't share a manager.
So I know that
union
Woodstock
of boards
has
is
a
not an
municipal
actual union for
manager.
the workers.
Well, union, I believe the way they worded to form a union, which to me is something similar to what they just did to the schools. Unionize them, they put them together.
I see.
well, we'd like to see it open up for discussion,
Mm.
and with, open thoughts of maybe it could work, maybe it couldn't work. Our concern is the last manager was 17 years. This opportunity might not come again for a long time, so,
You're talking, for the town.
yeah, and so trying to open their thoughts as well to, I know it's been frustrating. I've seen it from your end, I've seen it from the other end of, sometimes it's us and them instead of that, we're all getting our money from some of the same taxpayers some of the time and other ones for other times, but, and not to oppose what you're saying there, Larry, but boy, the 2 different zoning managers, I think bringing that together was the best thing ever.
Yeah, but that's the thing I was saying, we had 2 working
Yeah,
administrators
right,
and everything, 2 sets of books, and so everything has to work that way first before you
Yeah.
can pull them together, cause
yeah,
when you don't know one, and then it's
Right.
gonna be a mess.
And it is hard for one person, in my opinion, you want your manager to be loyal to your entity. And we are sometimes pulled in different directions, and then you're gonna be asking that one person to
yeah.
divide his loyalty or pick a side.
Well, that's where I'm hoping that working together more lessens the opposing interests, that
It's
like,
still gonna happen, I mean, it
the-
will eventually happen.
The thought was, when Suzanne started out, she was talking about a joint meeting.
Hmm.
And I know we've had joint meetings in the past, you folks have, and they've been a little bit cumbersome, I think. I think from my point of view, each one of you talked about what each one was doing, but there was nothing talked about things that could be done jointly, for one thing. And the second thing is that it seems like every time there was one of those meetings, one of you had your own meeting to do on that same day.
Because then it'd have to be a whole different special meeting for both boards.
Well, I think it'd be more meaningful, as to what you're trying to do. If you're trying to discuss something that's common between you, I think that would be the thing to do. I don't, I'm not saying you need to have one of these things regularly, but,
Right.
1 or 2 meetings, might
See,
be-
it's hard for us
might
to
be
even
beneficial.
get a common night between the 2 boards, so then you're throwing in another meeting, that's why we're doing
Yeah,
it
I know,
the way we are now, it's more efficient.
yeah, I know it's hard, but.
And, yeah, it's something that, we get to a point, I think we need to gather more information, we come up to a meeting like that, that's gonna be a 2-3 hour meeting. Yeah, you
Probably
don't wanna
is.
have your own agenda items going on at the same night.
But wait, I mean, if we got stuff together and did some research and stuff just to talk about, would you guys be open to that meeting? We could get them to agree?
I guess you'd have to put it, send it out to us and we'd have to look at it and discuss it at our own board.
All right, well, I was just teeing that baby up. I think, we'd like to be on the agenda to talk to you guys about it a little bit more next meeting time, and maybe we can send some information ahead of time. It's an interesting thing, their village over the unionizing.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Cause I know Woodstock and Ludlow have it, and Essex says unified, but Woodstock, Ludlow doesn't, so I'm wondering if they're, it's just I gotta dig a little.
We have done some research too, combining some stuff, and it has to make financial sense too. And some other towns and municipal villages haven't found the financial, economic to do things like that. So it has to be financially
Right, and I
sound for
think
everybody for it to work.
when we talked in the past, when we used the M word, you know, I knew, you know, ultimately it's gonna come down, the taxpayer's gonna say, what's it gonna do to my taxes?
Mhm.
And this way, you maintain your separate tax basis still.
Yeah.
So it might be a toe forward to seeing how that works out, but,
Right.
yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Nice to know you're looking into it.
Yep.
Exciting.
There were a lot of things we're trying to look into. Alright, so moving on, is there anything else you need to add?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Any questions,
Very
let us
much.
know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops.
Did you get the?
I wanna take one more papers, you can keep one, we'll take the other.
She needs to sign this one.
There, you keep that, we'll keep this.
Somebody's coming, somebody's.
Nope, that's Heidi's.
Oh.
I think, we're serious.
So we've got 2 quotes there for the Opera House.
Right,
Are we gonna wait for more or? should we
I didn't even
wait
know
till-
she was getting the one that she did get. Hers, when she first got it, was not itemized, then she saw the one we had, so she called and asked it, whatever
Trade.
that is,
Do we know?
to itemize
Itemize it,
it.
yeah, okay.
Um,
And maybe we can look at them next meeting. We don't wanna keep dragging out.
We can do that last. Procedure for.
Alright, so we got Joey. And actually, we could
his are
probably
just
do,
paper, so you could probably go to try.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's just you two for the signs, we might as well jump on that item. Dave and Sally?
Okay, I gotta come over here where we can see.
Oh,
So, last time I was here, as I remember what I think I got out of you folks' comments as you were interested in seeing, we were talking about size, the size of the signs. And we talked about 4x4 signs, we also talked about 4x6 signs. And you said you're interested in seeing what the sign would look like as a 4x6. So basically, that's what we've done. We've got a 4x6, and fortunately Jesse is gonna help us. He said he was gonna help.
I thought I was gonna help.
4x6, and what was the other side?
4x4.
So what is that TV screen right there? That's about 3x4?
So this
Not
table.
quite, not quite 4, I don't think, but, yeah.
So that'd be close to the smaller sign.
Okay,
The screen
Very.
sign.
so, that's a 4x4, and I think last time also, we had, instead of welcome, we had entering. And you felt that welcome maybe a better way
I like welcome.
to present it.
Seems more warm and fuzzy.
So, now this, I think I showed this picture before, and I mentioned that picture, that photo was taken with my phone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's bad, you know, it's a bad photo.
Yeah, it's almost, it'd be nice if you could see the highway going.
I have since, talked with Kathy Inch,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and she has been out, and she took a photo, and I don't know, have you got another photo like this, Jesse?
I just have this one here.
Okay,
That's
this
the
is
I have.
one that she took.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when we went to John's to put a photo on that other 4x4, I only had the one I took with my camera. I didn't have this one.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's why this one is not on that. We tend, the two of us, tend to lean toward 4x4, for a few reasons. I think, and I think we can get as big a photo on the 4x4 as we could on the 4x6. I think from a weather point of view, especially wind, it would
Right.
be a better deal. And I think it doesn't look quite as overpowering maybe.
Yeah,
Billboard, you know,
Yeah.
kinda like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way we're leaning. And if, could you show the 4x6 also? Yeah.
I like that one.
So that's a 4x6.
I like that one.
It's got a smaller photo though.
Mhm.
The
It does
4x4 has,
Yep.
has
Yeah.
a,
And that's the old, that's my phone photo again, I don't.
Can you go back to the 4x4, Jess?
Yeah. You tell me what you want.
I like the established date.
I like the round
Well,
circle.
that is nice.
You
I
know,
totally agree.
that-
I
I think
like
that's something
Well,
that's
what
pretty.
size is the village going with? Did they decide? Because I think it would look nice if they were uniform.
Okay, I do too, and I'm on the agenda for the trustees tomorrow night. And I wish, I didn't bring a whole bunch of photos, and send Jesse a whole bunch of photos, because it gets a little confusing.
Right.
But I've got this same layout with the bridge,
Oh, I see.
a fall scene of the bridge, which is one that Kathy took.
yeah.
And I really like it. I like the 4x4, and I'm gonna try to convince them to go with the 4x4.
And you're talking about the bridge down here by Dairy Center?
No,
Oh, this one.
the falls.
Okay.
The falls
And that's gonna be
down.
the village sign?
That's what, yeah, and now also, what I'm gonna ask them if they want to do, and I would like to do this, I would like to have, like you folks mentioned, a different photo on each sign.
Yes, yeah, that was the idea I was
That's
thinking.
intriguing.
Now down there, what I'm thinking is, right now we've got 3 different photos of that bridge. All we need is one more, and we'd have 4 signs covered.
I think it'd be neat to have one of the river and the mountains, you know, just have different.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, when you look out this way,
Yeah,
if,
I mean,
cause I've seen them before where they've captured the bridge over there
Yeah, yeah.
and J Peak in the
Yeah.
background, kind
Actually,
of.
my-
It's
my-
actually
then
a
you could-
beautiful scene right here. When
Oh,
you come
yeah.
out of this parking lot and come
Right.
out and
It's
look that
amazing.
way, it's
Yeah.
nice.
But unfortunately, that way's out of town.
No,
Thank you for coming.
it's like, but just think of it this way, they gotta look in your mirror, right?
That's right. Yeah, put a little thing at the bottom, look in your mirror.
But look at it this way, if they come here, they gotta leave.
That's right,
That's
that's
something.
right. That's right.
Did I miss that? And I'll turn around and go back, look.
And the thing is, Dave, on that one right there, what you could do is, say like on the bottom right-hand corner, in the picture, is put the date.
Actually, what you could do is put a board across the bottom,
Yeah, we could.
a separate board.
Well, that or else, you know, incorporate it in the photo.
The one, so there's another, I think, very important thing about this sign is, it's considerably cheaper than the other one. Because you can get 2 of these out of one sheet.
Right, right, well, that's a waste, yeah, 4x4, you got a 4x8 sheet.
Right.
4x4 is actually very large.
Yeah.
It is,
You
it
actually
is.
set the
What are
board
the sizes that they
size.
currently have? Like the old signs for the village, lines.
They're
for-
4x4.
They are.
Now, the lion's gonna want some part of this too. We talked about that at one time, right?
Not for the town signs, that would be.
Well, no, I thought it was gonna be like on the board
I'll tell you
underneath
the way
because
the
they
way I
were.
look at it, and I hope that they're in agreement. I don't know, I mean, I don't know, I shouldn't say this, but I don't know why the Lions have ownership of Enosburgh Town signs or Enosburgh Village
It's a
signs,
good question.
either way. I mean, it seems like the town
Yeah,
should own the town signs, the village should own the village signs.
I think they'll
If they
manage
want,
it
if they want,
they-
if they want to cooperate with us, that's fine.
right,
You know, I'd be more than happy to talk to them about it, and we have talked about it, so.
But the village signs, because they're using the grant, but that was given to the rights, they have to say something about the dairy industry though,
That's
right?
another little bit of a bugaboo, but.
Can I say the 4x6 again? I'm just curious. I didn't give a good shot.
That is nice.
It is
I like that.
I just liked it.
Yeah,
Just wanted to
I don't
point it.
disagree, it's not nice. It's not nice, it is nice.
And really, I like the picture here as well too, because you're not seeing the houses.
I don't wanna see the house.
You're more seeing the barn, you're not
I
seeing
like
Michael's
this.
tractor out
Right.
there, or Michael's car, you're
Yeah.
seeing just the barn.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Could you shrink
I
them
mean, the other
But,
one could, the other
yeah,
one could be that
the
way
shrink-
too,
I think you could shrink that up, couldn't you?
and put this on 4x4?
and she could zoom right in on it.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing would be nice if we could crop out all those telephone poles.
Yeah, I'd say that
You know,
too.
really, though, if you
No, I
could crop
mean,
them out.
Probably,
No,
they
no, no,
probably
can't,
have
because the
that
thing is
ability.
that someone's gonna go and look at that
Yeah.
photo. And then
Run into
go
a
back on the
pole.
road and say, what happened to those poles?
That farmer over there, he might hit him with his tractor or something, and they all look the same.
That's a good idea. Could you put that on a 4x4? I mean, it's a nice image
Let me
and way
see,
it's formatted.
have, we do have that, I wish I brought mine.
I mean, I like the picture being bigger, but I think that's,
I just like.
I
this-
think as
this
you're
package.
driving by, I think you.
And I like
you
how
get
it says
the-
established.
Yeah, I like the established part, I think
Enosburgh
that's,
is like right there.
Yeah, I like it.
Established.
and I like the way the
I
Enosburgh
wouldn't
is,
mind a
Yeah,
4x4
I like
if
it.
it was this setup.
right, and I like the way the Enosburgh is
Mhm.
on an arch
It's
too.
really pretty.
Yep.
So I have to tell you, while he's doing that, we've been cleaning our cellar, for the first time in 43 years, and finding interesting things. And I have found some bottles, and some of them are Kimball's, some medicine bottles.
Oh, yeah.
And it says Enosburgh Falls, but the Enosburgh has an H, and it's Enosburgh H Falls.
Really?
And-
We have
and-
some seals in the office, you know, like notary seals,
Yeah.
and seals of the town, and it says Village of Enosburgh Falls, and it's with an H,
Yeah.
Falls.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we have a tin that came from the Billadu block, and that's Enosburgh H Falls too,
Wow.
yeah.
I think
Anyway.
both of the ones you picked are very
Anyway, we
attractive.
do
Yeah,
have
I
this,
they're
we
very
do have
nice.
this
You did a
format.
great job.
But, okay, so we need to go a little further, okay? So, one thing I wanted to say is that the two of us have been working on this little project for a year now.
Yeah.
And we'd like to try to somehow feel like we're moving forward, you know?
Yeah.
And if we could, if you folks could pick something that you like, and doesn't necessarily mean that's the end of it, but
Yeah.
pick something that you like that we can go with and try to go forward.
Try to see if it'll fit on
So,
something simple.
so there's some things I need to ask you.
Yep.
Number one, to put these out on the highway, do we need to go through the planning commission?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, I
You need to
think
go
we
through
made.
AOT.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably
that's right,
District 8 with Jim Coda.
Okay, so I got states on my list too.
Mm-hmm.
Zoning,
I think we've done something like this before where we dismissed it or something.
Right.
But we had,
So
I think
much-
we have to make a
I don't
motion.
think
I was
there's
gonna say,
anything,
that
because
permission
it's
from
in the
the
states
landowner
right away, I don't
too,
think there's
right?
anything,
so from the state point of view, is that something that you folks
Yeah.
could do? Because you know,
we could reach out to Jim Coda.
Yeah,
who to
yeah,
talk with and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Well-
locally, I mean, it's required, but when we're the applicant and the payer,
Right,
and
right.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
We should be able to just say,
Yeah.
we'd have to get permission from landowners, I'm sure, and all that, too,
Okay,
Yeah, I
so-
think the
Right.
landowner
Is the
works with
state.
AOT.
wherever we.
So,
yeah.
yeah,
We'd have to
so,
know how many and
Yeah.
Where.
where you want them, and then they would
yeah,
kind
so
of
I've got location, and do you folks wanna choose? I know it should go on the border, I mean, or as close to the border as
Oh, yeah, right,
Yeah,
could possibly be.
Yes, yes.
yeah, I would think within a
yeah,
couple
so
of
somewhere's
towns.
over by Halls, Halls would be the ones to
Yeah.
talk to,
So,
and Marie,
should
Marie would,
we
yeah,
leave
to talk to
that
Marie,
up?
she would really want some input there.
We can leave that up to us to kind of pinpoint where they should be, or one of you folks?
The other way would be Nate's place, or Andy Smith's.
the last house. The last house is.
Oh, that's Berkshire.
Well, no, that Smith Farm is the first house in Berkshire, so
Yes.
it's right there between,
Yes.
what are
It's on
their
that.
names?
Yes.
Rennings?
Rennings.
Oh,
Rennings.
it's right there between those two.
Yeah.
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 So we can actually maybe go up a little bit farther toward Enosburgh.
And there might be an interesting place there, I'm not sure what.
And we could do it right
There's
at
a dry
Sampsonville.
hydrant.
We
Well,
could do it right at
Yeah.
Sampsonville,
Right.
because
On that
even
flat.
though it's not quite on the border, but this is
Yeah.
a little
Plus, you don't wanna
establishment.
get in those meadows, the flood zone there too, kind of.
Yeah.
On the
We
flat.
don't want our
Right on the
signs
flat.
to
Right,
get flooded
right
out.
past Chris Giroz
Yeah.
is the.
Maybe just past, yeah, next to the tracks or just past Mount
Mhm.
Rosedale somewhere.
Mhm.
Next to the tracks, going toward East Berkshire.
Yeah, well, yeah, on the right-hand side, but.
We could be in Berkshire.
You know, like where Alice and Larry Mason live,
Right, used to
you
be.
know that house going toward Enosburgh?
You know where
No,
Mike
Larry.
Loisdale has his bottle redemption?
Yeah.
Right across the road there somewhere. I would say.
Or even on
Oh,
the,
yeah, oh, you said Alice and.
Where
Larry,
Alice and
right.
Larry lived, yes, up in
Right.
or even
because
right
it's
by
up
the,
higher, so
Actually,
it's not
a
gonna
little-
the
get.
turn to
flooded.
go out
little
to
bit
Shawcats, because
It's
it's,
good.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
already broke up right
Right.
here. Of course, you don't wanna make a blind spot
Right, you're
either.
gonna make a blind, you're gonna have people working there too.
Yeah, plus the thing is you gotta keep an eye on, if you get close to that rail trail, is
Yeah.
people with snowmobiles trying to look down.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Well, anyway,
That's-
picking a
that's-
location is.
Maybe right before Rennings hit, well, yeah, I don't know, I guess you would probably have to talk again though,
probably the
before
the
Rennings.
Rennings and,
I think the land starts going up a little bit right there. Yeah, go all the way across the flat, so you don't, get a nice flat right there, you don't want to stick something right there, it starts getting, you know, some trees and stuff, so you get some background. And
All right, now, the other thing is, are you thinking 4? 2?
three, I thought three, no, just two.
well, we were talking 4 originally, because 2 were gonna be with the village.
Right.
Yeah,
but the
So-
village is taking care of those.
Yeah, so then we were thinking, well, if they're taking care of those, we were thinking of these 2 originally. 3 is.
Two would be good.
I mean, we can start with 2 and then from there, it's one of those that we can always come
Okay.
back.
Right, people
okay,
say,
yeah,
yeah.
another year?
And
If
did
you
you
want-
want 2 different pictures?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
now wait,
yes,
okay,
two-
now wait a minute.
two different
Help me
pictures.
out, back, one up in East Berkshire on 105,
Yep.
Mhm.
and the other one
108.
on 18 coming in from Bay.
by,
The Hall Farm.
by the Hall Farm.
Yeah, that's good.
And those would depict, the pictures on them would, you know, you get the Horrigan Farm coming in, that'd be over by the halls, and the one over on the other side would be something on this other side.
Like the North Enosburgh Bridge or
Up
something
toward the
like
mountain
that.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a beautiful scene looking.
yeah.
Unfortunately, you're looking out, but I mean, still nice.
Still, I think you still could do it that direction, wouldn't be quite right. And I don't know how many people would say that's, come back to you and say, that doesn't look right, but they'd say, hey, that's good.
That's a nice picture.
Okay,
You know where another nice picture's up on top of like Sabatini's down there, looking at the village.
Yeah,
You know, looking at the whole, you can see the whole village from that hill, that might be a nice
So-
little shot too.
Is
so,
there
so if we
any,
do 2 more later on, it
Yeah.
would be that one on the Boston
Right.
Post Road
Right.
and.
yeah.
But I, so yeah, keep asking you questions, they would hold you out.
If you want me to, David, I'll go with you to look at those places.
That sounds good.
If that's something you wanna do.
Yeah.
is there anything on the back of the, cause you could always do a thank you for coming, this you get, you know, like
Yeah.
if
I
there's.
think of a lot of things to say.
I'm just curious,
some of
you
it's
know,
not
you
very
could do
good,
the
but-
welcome and.
Turn back, you forgot something.
Forgot to buy something.
Yeah. Let me see now. So we talked about photos, different photos, and that's good. And Kathy, so I talked with Kathy and, you know, she sells calendars and things, so she's got a little bit of a business, but she said, you know, she said, I'm an amateur, and she's like, and I talked to her about this project, and she's been very helpful, and I think she's gonna continue to be helpful, and I told her that, you know, at the end of this thing, what I think we could do is somehow put an article in the paper,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
mentioning that she did these photos.
and, yeah, all your work that everybody did on
Yeah.
it.
So, and the last thing I have is, and I don't know how you folks conduct your business, but, I mean, at some point, you have to pay for these things, and you have to order them. So, this is my thought, and you tell me if it should be done a different way. I could go to John and I could say, okay, John, the town wants 2 of this particular photo with a sign with 2 different photos on it, and I don't think he cares what the photos are.
No.
And ask him to give me a quote, an official quote, and I will turn that into you. And then you folks can approve it.
Yep.
And I don't know if you write purchase orders or what you do, but if that's the way you do it, write a purchase order to John and go at that way.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how it would come in front of us, we'd look at the quotes and make motions and accept or not, and then once it's accepted, then BJ can pay it out.
Once you accept it, we could officially order it.
Right, yeah. Which could be as soon as next week, or, we're gonna be going back to the first and third, like we always did, first and third Monday each month.
Okay.
So,
So, tell me where you leaning, right? 4x6 or 4x4?
4x4, but shrink that puppy down. See if you can
We,
put it on a 4x4.
we like this kind of design, can fit on a 4x4.
Okay, I think I've got it, and I wish I'd given you all the photos. But I'll tell you what, I'll go home and I'll look at them and I'll send a photo out. Okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say, get it to BJ and she can send it to us or whatever.
Yeah, looks great, good job.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Well, I can't think of anything else. Yes.
Well, Ashley St. Pierre she's put up with a lot from us. And she's so pleasant.
Oh, she
They're
is
very-
awesome.
They're very creative, they're very
Awesome.
creative up there, John's
She's
got a very
she's
creative.
always a jolly
mind.
person.
Yeah,
Very sweet
yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
You know, every time we call, we think, oh, that poor girl, she'll probably roll her eyes, but she does,
She's
she's great.
patient.
Yeah,
She is very patient.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good.
Well, that's.
When do you wanna just give me a call when you wanna do that?
Yeah.
Pretty much any time, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's getting to the point now where it's warming up
yeah.
and the ground is easing up a little bit.
Some places more than others.
Right.
I've heard of, what is it, what a neighborhood, is that the
Well,
one?
they're not letting the buses on there anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I think maybe he's not here, maybe he's working on it. You know, sometimes they go out with a grader if it's about to freeze, push it down.
Yeah.
See my son.
I had a phone call
Can't
home
go to
this morning.
school.
You did?
Yeah, about somebody.
Sure, I
Well, he's basically bitching
Bill
about
Joe
sap
do it.
haulers.
Yeah,
That's-
either or.
And I told him, I was like, you know, you're
I talked
kind
to
of,
him for
I
a
said,
good
you're
while, I
kinda
did
stuck
decide
here
about
because
projects and stuff like that,
this
so I'm happy
quarterback,
to send an
he'd
email.
already
So
talked to
people
Joe.
check that out for us?
Yeah, no, I
And
can
he
shoot him an
says-
email,
he
I'm
has a
sure
couple of good points.
we're not the only municipality that's,
It's
you know,
one,
what I
he's
mean, I'm sure
basically
they
one
probably
sap
have some
hauler with a
standard
single axle
operating
truck
procedures for
busting
this
the
kind of
road
thing,
up
so-
there.
And
he's
always
taking his
very
sap
good.
up
If he
to
doesn't know it,
Fairfield
he passes it
and
off.
coming across
And you
Enosburgh
get
Road.
immediate
yeah.
response from him, so.
Fairfield and Bakersfield, he's coming across Chester
That's
Road.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I will
And
do
going
that
out
tomorrow.
towards Bakersfield.
I'll send you
So he's not picking up any
Okay, yeah.
product.
If it's easier, you
Into
can
town
send me an email,
Enosburgh,
give it
and
forward to
Joey
you,
told
my
me that-
email, that's
Told
fine.
Courtney that he
We're
pretty
all
much
the
has
same-
this guy has him
same
on speed
officer,
dial saying,
so-
the roads are busted up, you need to put shit in there.
Yeah, right, right.
And Courtney's like, why are we
Thank you.
paying, why is our town budget getting
Thank you.
smashed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because
I gotta ask,
somebody
are you Jessica
from another
West?
town is
Yes.
using these roads.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause you
Yes,
can go back.
yeah. Now
Well,
Eagles.
that's it, or he-
I still get
Joneses,
called
you could
West,
turn
yeah.
around there.
Actually,
and
you
look
probably
at
go by her
Joneses
house
and
every day.
Just before Magnus
yes.
We're
Farm.
neighbors, and I've been to.
You'll
your
vote
house
for it.
sale.
They live
You
on,
go
right
that
on
way.
Hollow.
We're just
Oh,
gonna-
I
He's
don't
coming
go that
across
way
East
very
Road, there's no problem.
Because that's the thing we
Yes,
talked about,
oh,
so
yeah,
maybe
you
it's
probably
in your
have seen
town,
our
maybe
You
it's
know, I
not
haven't
from another
really
town,
thought
it should
about
be
it
some sort of
since
impact
you were
fee.
probably.
But you don't have any language for
That's
that.
good,
Yeah.
when I heard you
That's
say
what I said,
okay.
we talked about
That's
that.
so
And I said,
funny,
he
yeah,
knows all-
yeah,
anything
it's,
you
we've
say
been
to
there
him,
for a couple
he
of
just
years
goes
now.
back
I
to
know.
Well, that's, well,
Department
I'll
of
have to,
Agriculture, and they're
what
gonna
do you
say,
drive?
he's doing
Little
agriculture.
scion.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be
You know,
A
looking.
little
Yeah.
toaster.
So,
Okay.
but he's right, he has a point. It's
The
like,
state is also
funny, it
working
really
on
is.
this too, because
Yes,
this
it
isn't
is.
just this county, it's the
Of
whole
course, I'm so
state.
bad
that's
at
changing.
recognizing.
Because it's like, what is
Think of
I,
everybody you hear.
because this is different.
right,
Now,
Right,
before,
now
everybody
it's-
had their sugar
now
book,
it's
and
factory.
they went
Of course,
to,
that's
went,
the-
stayed on the site.
Right.
Now, when it's traveling, it's like, well, this is a little different.
And I felt for him because he does have a point, and we're busting up our roads and our budgets
map.
To take product that's not even in our town.
Maybe just by the name, you know, like it might be like
Yeah, that's-
sports
So I
related.
was like, I'll bring it up, and I said, I don't really think there's not a whole lot we can really do.
Something a little bit.
We talked about this
It's
so
so
many
long
times with
ago.
Joey there, and yeah, that's the problem, it's an ag product,
really
and
don't
until
know
the
the
state
butter,
redefines
you know,
that,
because it's almost
Right.
like the longer
Because
He
way
would go
It's
out,
hard
he
to-
went that way,
but
going to Bakersfield.
Right.
these guys
Right.
should
Right,
give
just-
donations or something.
Well, that's
That's
kind of what I
right.
said, is maybe we should.
I have been
If
a
that
couple
product
times.
is worth that much for them.
Or if you're, you know, if you're calling Joey because you're busting our
The
road up,
Enosburgh Mountain
I mean,
Road,
you should
they
really
was
be
telling me
paying
about,
at least some sort of
somebody
portion
lives
of
with
that
it,
stone,
and
and
that's
whatever
where they
he's put in
track
there, right?
there.
It is, and then
I know,
you can only go so far
Right,
in the winter, and then you have to come
Yeah,
Hill West.
but that's
Still
but,
go-
you know, we're the
go
only
through
ones
and
getting
spend
impacted, that's
all
the
See,
thing.
Dwayne used to deliver grain,
our
so
budget's-
he's been on all of
Joey's
these,
budget
you know,
is-
so.
He's getting impacted more than,
Yeah, other towns have had it a lot
'cause he
worse
said he
than
went
us.
through there and he got around by the pond up there, and he said the road was perfect, cause he also can go through there empty.
Right,
So then, so the rest of the road is getting hammered, cause he's running down there full.
Yeah.
So,
You might really be able to do that, is put a limit.
and then he's going to Fairfield,
he's, yeah, I guess he's coming down the bottom of Chester Ave Road and going toward Bakersfield. It's, Jamie
cause that road
Curtis.
goes to Fairfield the other way too.
Yeah, it's Curtis Boy,
So he does pick up though, he does pick up on the,
Jones Road, or
Yeah, on
Steve
the
Jones, isn't
Steve
he
Jones.
Bakersfield though?
Steve
no,
is-
Steve is Enosburgh.
Oh, is he?
Oh, I thought the farm was in Bakersfield.
Well, it could be split, but he gets a
Yeah.
tax bill from us, for I think his house and some acreage, and
Okay,
then maybe the rest
okay.
of Bakersfield, but he is, so if that's who
Okay.
it is, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah,
Way
no,
back
it's-
when-
it's
when
Jones,
they had
it's not
animals
Steve,
in the-
it's-
Because he got his driveway
The barn is
permit and all
Bakersfield
that
because
stuff from us.
years ago they had problems
Right.
there when Ann was there.
Right,
My dad was
Yeah.
a Bakersfield selectman and he had to go
yeah.
Mhm.
for that, but.
Okay, so Steve is Enosburgh, okay,
Is?
I was thinking he was Bakersfield.
Cause he gave you a Jamie Curtis,
Oh, yes.
yes, he
Yeah.
had given a permit for something.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's move on here, cause we're not gonna do a 10 o'clocker tonight.
Thank you, my husband thinks he's good.
Alright, let's do something real quick here,
Mine
let's
didn't
do,
seem to
let's
care,
do minutes.
So Joey's not coming in?
He's not, he
Okay.
sent me some paperwork.
Yeah, we'll do minutes first here. So do we have 2 sets of minutes?
Yes.
I didn't bring them,
So we just have the 14th on hand,
Can I ask a clarifying question?
sure.
Just going back a little bit earlier to, so what were they asking for? They're asking for municipality, like, they were asking for discussions together? Like
I think-
meetings or,
Oh, the one that they're asking
yeah, like a,
coming up?
yeah. Was it
Yeah,
just to
so
get
they-
together or was it for an official meeting?
Well, what they're asking is for us to consider having, right now they have a village manager,
Right.
but they're basically asking for that village manager to be village and town manager.
Oh, but
Like,
that
like we used to have
something that we
two zoning boards, and
right,
then we combined them.
okay, so what would that step look like if, say?
We don't even have a manager, so
So
I
that would
wouldn't
be
be
a lot.
considering
So it's a big,
combining.
it's a big,
I wouldn't
big
combine it
step.
until we
Okay,
know
I
what,
just was curious, cause it sounds like there's a lot
We-
more that
well,
has to.
Well, there is, that's why they have some legwork to do.
Okay,
And sometimes towns, because they named a couple towns, sometimes towns will go ahead and do something and have a sharing of things without checking the legality of it. And that's where kind of like where I come in and
Okay.
I always check legality of things, and I had heard that this was a thing, and I checked with the League of Cities and Towns because I personally feel like it would be a conflict. Just
Oh,
from some
sure.
of the stuff we've had over the years, you're asking somebody to try to stay neutral. I can't stay neutral, I'm always protecting you guys and trying to do what's right for this board.
Right.
That person is not going to be able to
Yeah.
do it for both boards and be very effective.
so
So
when
when
they,
I looked into it, they
Okay.
said that you cannot share a manager. Two different municipalities can't share a manager unless you form a union, like the school districts just did, as you know.
right, yeah,
And then you're basically a unit.
you're saying that the boards form a union?
The towns form a union, the town and village. And one thing that I don't know that anybody really understands,
Oh, okay,
and maybe they don't enough, that if we were to merge, the town is the presiding entity and there will be no more village. And that's just the way it is. It's not a choice of, well, we want the town to go away and we keep the it's a thing.
Mhm.
The village goes away.
But right now, the step that they're thinking
They
of
just
one
want it.
manager to do it all, and they even said it, it's too much for one person, cause then they're saying get an assistant manager, so it's, I'm saying, let us just get, you're talking two people already.
Right.
So
Oh,
let's
yeah,
just
yeah.
have our own
And then the
person, and
managers can get
then they
together.
can, and so maybe those managers can
Because you need
discuss.
to have loyalty.
Cause you're gonna have two,
Employees.
one way or the other.
You're gonna have, right,
Well, yeah, if you had a city
Right.
manager, what about the issues that we've been talking about
Yeah,
Exactly.
going
Exactly.
outside of town here?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
why
they would
that's
even be like, what do I do
that
here?
would work.
It's-
It's a
Something like
huge
that.
conflict.
It's conflict of
And
interest.
that's why I personally feel
Mhm.
Chad,
So, yeah,
because you want somebody, you know, like I'm your watchdog, I try,
Yeah,
try
oh,
to be
sure.
on guard and looking
Right.
out for stuff.
Right.
And one person can't do it for two boards
No.
and be effective, because you're gonna have to choose your loyalty.
Well,
Even
that's
Whether you
what-
like, whether you
Yeah.
really think you have to or not, you
No,
really
but that's the way it
do.
should be
Yeah.
though, really.
And then you're gonna be saying to this person, I wanna be in an executive session with this group,
Right.
and you should be privy to it.
Right.
And then you're gonna go to the
Right,
next
yeah.
meeting and you're gonna be privy to
Right,
that, and you're gonna be
yeah,
like, and if
yeah.
you don't have somebody who's spot on honest,
Right,
they're whispering in others' ears,
Right.
back and forth.
yeah, no,
I
I
can't
agree.
That sounds
100%.
like it would be great as far as communication for everything, to have the two, zoning, you have your two managers that you talk to for village and.
Two different ones,
yeah.
but not sharing.
Right, exactly, time
I mean,
wise even.
kudos to those people who think that they can share one and whatever.
Interesting.
But also you don't
Okay, I
have
was
what
just
Enosburgh
wondering.
Village has with water, sewer and electric.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
It's a big deal.
The
It
BJ
is.
is probably gonna gather some more information from Vermont League cities
Yeah.
and towns and have
interesting, okay.
I'll have it for the floor.
alright, so let's do the March 14th minutes. Because we don't have the other one.
I didn't bring the other one with me. I forgot about it. Well, I don't think.
I see one thing.
The one I called her Jessica
We just-
West.
No, the third line, Phil's, he's just playing around.
Oh. We misspelled,
what?
you mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
Rhodey, yeah.
Rhodey toady.
Totally. I don't know,
Toy.
I don't know where I was going with that.
I've been called worse.
That's what we were just talking about, we're like, I'll take
What,
it.
calling me worse?
No, not you. Me.
And then, probably the only other thing, BJ,
Yeah,
is that on Joey, is just give him a title.
okay.
Just, cause you got, Joey discussed,
Joey Clark, road foreman.
right,
Oh.
but you, yeah. Dave's the only thing I can see, but I'm moving.
So on those conditions, those minor discrepancies. Pierre made a motion, accept,
I'll second it.
Phil seconded that motion. Any more discussion? Five none, all those in favor of approving the March 14 minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Alrighty.
Where was my check? And in case anybody's hungry, I didn't fail this time.
I wonder what was in there.
We on TV?
Yeah. You care?
No.
I think I might have overcooked some stuff, but it still made both still edible.
Oh my God.
Oh, she's digging still. Oh my
Oh.
god.
Now those
My
are
goodness.
fat
I'm gonna
free,
get up and move on.
calorie free,
Gluten free.
gluten free,
Yeah.
made with cauliflower.
Girlish finger.
Oh,
Oh my goodness,
Look at that.
oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god.
Look at that puppy.
on camera. Do your boards have a clerk like this?
And I just want you to know, you're allowed to have one too. So, you know, don't be hiding behind the scenes.
Alright,
Oh no, they don't feed me.
maybe after.
You can smell
Okay.
What about Jessie?
I haven't eaten dinner yet. She always gives me guff because I never eat any of it,
Aw.
so. Yeah.
Terry never did,
I
Sean
haven't
never
eaten dinner
did.
yet
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
No, Terry Wright never did. I said, Terry, you don't say too? Only in some things. he
Oh,
said.
that's so funny.
Oh my god, like going from here.
it. Alright, you good, Jesse? Or,
Yeah, we get Joey's stuff too.
Whichever you wanna do, it doesn't matter, do Joey's, it doesn't.
While you're chewing and eating, he can give you his rundown on the stuff that's transpired at that. It's helpful.
Alright, so we'll do Jesse with cameras and bulk.
Yeah,
Was Polly gonna have to?
She's gonna call, I was gonna call her at 7:30.
Okay.
Oh, so before you start that
Yep.
though, I should, so you knew about the incident, like I told you last time with Kelly Coda, and I had handled it with a restraining order and
Yep.
everything. So there was an incident that happened apparently last night. Kelly was on again, but somebody entered this building, they can't get into the living quarters, but they entered this building and they were most likely drunk and on drugs. And they picked up a chair like it was a weapon and they were like swinging around and they were screaming and hollering, saying somebody was after them, their brother was after them. And it, just carrying on, they called VSP, they never showed up.
No, cause it wasn't a night for.
So I said,
Franklin County be on duty.
right, but still, I think even, they said, well, we'll be up, nobody's in the area, we'll send somebody up. An hour or more went by. They did finally see them drive down the road, but they never came here to check on our people.
Hmm.
I wonder if there's a way to get like a lock, you know, you type
Well, so
it.
that's the thing that I would like to check into.
Yeah, that would be good.
So Jesse has checked into, whether the doors have to remain open or not, and he did discover,
yeah, so I called the state today, and the state, they're confirming with Montpelier, whether or not, like she said, if we can lock the doors. Cause right now, the way the law reads is that it's police stations, fire stations, where it's defined as a safe haven. But since I posed the question, since the fire station is not always 24/7 manned, you know, what does that entail, and basically spelled out what we've got here. And she said, given the case of what's happened, the other fact that you have the phone outside, the phone is
there's an
there,
emergency.
that emergency phone is outside, that she was pretty confident in the fact that we could lock the door. But she, again, was getting confirmation from Montpelier as to whether or not that's an option, so.
So how,
So I think what
do
we,
the firemen have their own keys to get into the
they
different
have
door?
their own keys to get into the side door, we have codes to get into the side doors on the ambulance side. Her and I have talked about replacing this doorknob and the one out in the big room with code entries, like to get into the kitchen. And then if we did something like that at the front door, or whether it be a key lock, we need to make sure that these people feel more safe than they have
What?
been feeling lately.
It's crazy that
Yeah.
all of us, nothing, for
Never in my
30, 40 years,
full-time
nothing,
years.
and then,
Yeah, but it's
2 weeks
probably
now.
gonna not stop.
I think it's,
You know, I
Yeah.
yeah, oh no, they're brave enough to do that, nothing happened. No cop showed up, nothing happened,
They
so.
have those slide cards too, my husband's, you know, like you have your
Yeah.
card and you
Right,
just
we have
slide
to
it.
find something to do
That's
to make
effective, yeah.
secure
More
for these
secure,
people,
yeah.
because this is where they're living
Well, and we depend on them.
24/7.
You know,
And
they
it's
need
unfair
to,
for them to be at risk.
well, they're, for their mental health too, they have to,
Well,
what they
absolutely,
do,
yeah.
they have to be like
And
on
they
the
have-
top of their
They
game.
And
have
they
to
were
be able
scared
to
last
think if
night.
something happens, they need to walk out the door,
And they
somebody's
couldn't
not
leave
standing
last
inside
night
you.
with that person in the building, so we went out of service for almost an hour and a half because of this incident. So that is,
So what's the next step, just trying to find something?
Just basically, once they, give me the okay, you guys have the decision, yeah, what we wanna do for a lock on the front
and
door.
then Pierre will step in and
Yeah.
figure out a lock
Yeah.
system for it.
Yeah, I do have
the
some,
pictures that I sent you, that's what you were thinking? It's just like what we got over in the kitchen.
Well, I was thinking that for these,
For
I
these
don't
two.
know what you're gonna do about the front door because it doesn't have the same handle, it's a push.
Right,
We're gonna have to, we don't wanna replace the doors because it's too
No.
expensive. But we'll either have to get keys or like Jess said, a swipe
And
or
maybe a swipe, like,
something to.
that way it'll be on a magnetic, and when you swipe through it,
Yeah.
unlock the door, you walk in, and then it locks right back.
Right,
behind
it's
you.
on a sensor, so then when that
Right.
goes off.
So you got AARP grant next to that?
Yes, I completed a grant, thank you very much.
Oh,
There you go.
cool.
I don't know if it's any good, I got very wordy and I tried to be fancy and I was trying, but also keeping it simple and small town at the same time and saying what I thought would help our people. Cause it was due tomorrow, so I didn't really have much of a choice, I didn't have time to find somebody. So I
Well, that was
tried,
the one you were talking about last time.
right, for the flooring.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, okay, great.
alright, so, the
So
picture I
then-
sent you, grab a couple,
Yeah, and so then Jesse's looked into the
and put 'em-
cameras
put 'em installed.
outside of the building.
Yeah, so cameras, now, the security cameras are super cheap, you can get kinda over the counter ones, Amazon makes them, Google makes them, I have some from Amazon, I have a Blink. It's literally a 2x2 black square, they're wireless, you basically just plug in like a hub somewhere, we probably plug it into the ambulance director's office, you can buy 5 of them for just shy of $400. And basically covering this door, front door, both sides, and we have, you know, a 5th kicker, if we wanna do a couple out front, you know, somebody in this direction, kinda this direction. You can set them up in minutes, all the ambulance staff would have an app on their phone, and it's one user, I mean, you guys can have it, and it's gonna give a notification when somebody crosses in front of that. You can see it, it's, like I said, it's $400 for the 5 cameras, you pay $100 a year for the subscription service, so what it does is, even if somebody grabs the camera and smashes the camera, they're in the cloud, because it backs
okay.
everything up to the cloud. So
Yeah,
there's no
yeah,
DVR, any of that stuff. The only risk we run, so that module where it talks, it goes 100 feet. We may have to play a little bit depending on the way the walls are, but again, the technology's come a long ways. I looked at Google's quite a bit more. Who else makes one? There's the Ring one. Again, they're quite a bit more. I have 2 of them. I've had them for almost 2 years, these Blink ones, and they're awesome. And it actually, it'll tell you everything.
What's it called? Blink?
Blink. It's made by Amazon. Well, Amazon owns it. It was actually its own company, then Amazon got wind of it and bought it for like $1 billion.
That's for here?
For here. So it's, for under $500, we're gonna have camera coverage. Those guys can have access to it, and like I said, it's literally,
Yeah.
and then the time it takes to put the screw in to hang the camera up, that's
Yeah.
all it takes. It's very easy.
And the thing is that we could also put one right here in the big room.
Right, you could, yeah.
Because
That may be
because
where
in
we
that
want
way,
one.
yeah, because the thing is
Going on.
that, you know, you kind of, say you wear a jacket with a hoodie and you walk through, but then if you're, getting a little warm and you go like that, it's,
Well,
when you're on the inside,
my initial thought was to have one just over in the foyer, kind of pointing back towards the front door, so as soon as you walk
Yeah.
in, boom,
Bang,
it's
it's
right there. And, that's 5 in this pack, you can expand up to 10 cameras on one module, so if we are like, hey, we should probably get
Yeah.
another one, we just get another one.
few
They're not, it's not
I
crazy.
like the idea that they all can put the app on their phone, so it doesn't matter who's on duty,
Right,
because they all have phones.
right,
And if they're out on a call and it goes off, they're like, hey, somebody's in our building.
right,
And then they know before they
Oh,
get here,
right.
so it's
Yeah,
safe.
that's true too, yeah.
Unfortunately, I think just this day and age, I think as
Yeah,
much
I don't think you're gonna see
security,
it stopping.
no.
yeah, it's kind of,
There's no discipline. There's
schools
no-
went this way a long time ago, we
Schools.
never really gave much consideration, because the sheriff used to be here 7 days a week,
Right.
and they're always staying in this building, so
Yeah,
that
this-
was security system in itself,
Yeah.
Right.
we don't have 7-day coverage anymore.
Yeah, and we can keep that footage, I believe it's up to 60 days. So if there is an incident and we need it for prosecution or some sort of thing,
Well, especially if the rec center picks, you know, if you've got a lot of people there, you can't, coming in and hang out. Yeah.
and they're in stock too. That's the other thing, they are in stock, so.
Are
So,
they primed?
Yeah, it actually told me that it could get delivered tomorrow. I was looking at it earlier and I'm like, that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
so, where did, here's,
I think he went, well, he might have gone to shop.
Believe it.
I've been hearing truck noises out there.
Are they gonna
They were
miss
there
a
earlier.
call?
they were in the fire department,
Yeah.
the people there when we came in.
Ah, no, they didn't.
So, yeah, we probably should have a motion, allow Jesse to pursue this.
I'll move that. Yeah, get 'em.
You will?
Well, actually, well, yeah, you might as well do that one first because we'll have to go for, the one over at the armory too.
Right, when we get there, yeah.
Well, we ain't there yet.
Right, we can get those, yeah.
I'll second
And I'm happy to set those up for
So,
you guys, so.
Gary made a motion, Jesse seconded.
it. Yeah, ring camera,
Phil-
we got it home pretty easy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Phil
exactly.
seconded our motion, to get cameras for the EMS building.
You need a Gracie down here. I would
Have
think you're.
Jesse, pursue that. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Alright.
Polly's under the weather, huh? She doesn't.
She has that, like, head cold, stuffy, drippy,
Yeah.
you know, when your eyes are pouring.
Yes.
Yeah, she sounded terrible today. She says, back in the day, you know, you go to work like this, now you try to go to
Stay
work
home.
like this and everybody's like, what do you have? And she said, I tested, I don't have it.
So, she's gonna be calling in 2 minutes.
I have to call her.
I don't know if we should get her right now and before we move on to the next item or.
Oh, the only other thing just about the vault is we were supposed to have all of that information this week. So just after I saw you guys last week, Laz got back to me. He has got everything ready to review, vault, security features like exit signs, emergency lighting, plumbing like everything he supposedly has done, so we're supposed to see that this week.
Cool.
So, next meeting, I'll give you the lowdown.
Yeah, I was, met with a person from NRCS, they up to the farm. And they used to be on the corner, St. Albans corner there.
Valley Rose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they got moved down into a government building
Mm.
down,
Where the old post office is.
yeah, down
Yeah.
behind it, yeah. So, and of course they didn't want it, but they own, the government owned that. Well, right now, they're having lead abatement after they moved into this
Oh,
5
yeah.
years ago. So this is why I'm like, yeah, we're doing the stuff right now before we're moving in there. And she's like, oh, yeah, you can't go here, you can't go there. While they're trying to work, you got people, you're trying to work and you hear drills and this, yeah.
So it's all worth it, all the
It-
preliminary
it's,
stuff.
Still
Yeah.
cheaper than a new building.
Well, when you see the price tag, you might, is there,
Well, we discussed it this morning, it's still gotta be cheaper.
it's still law, it's ready for me to call her?
yeah,
I'm surprised they still have people working there.
I am too.
I guess they're
Very.
just,
I forgot you were gonna call in.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi.
Hi, Polly.
how you feeling, Polly?
Hi. Oh,
Yeah,
this head cold is killing me.
there you go.
Yeah. So, grant. So Billy Joe has the grant application.
Everybody has one in front of them.
Okay, perfect. So it sounds like it was originally, what was it, 17.5 or 22.5?
Oh, here it is.
Remind me.
17, I think,
17.5.
but just for the
So-
windows.
And I think they had to add on the removal of the caulk for the windows
Okay.
and a lead sweep after everything is out. So the total has changed. And because of the total has changed, you have to sign a new application if you wanna go forward with it. But it would put the town match at 9,500. Not ideal.
9,500 town match.
Town match, yep. And she did say that she could have the work being done, I think she said as early as potentially next week, once she got the grant application back.
So, that's under remediation.
Under
Let's see.
remediation, yep.
So 60, oh, okay, now I see the total, I was wondering why the total is 56, it takes
Yeah.
out the 11.2 cost share.
Oh, with 11.2?
Yeah.
Oh, she put in an email that it was a town match of 95.
Must be their.
I think she's saying up to, so it might not be that high. I think,
Oh,
I think
okay.
she's being
Oh,
cautious.
cost share up to
Giving them
11,250.
Yeah. Up to.
Which is crazy when you think about, we were going in at 17.5 and with a lead sweep, it's that much more. Which I can reach out to Greta going, you know, that is pretty significant. I don't know if you want me to have that conversation or if we just cut our losses and sign that, I don't know.
Well, just before you got on the phone, I was having a discussion with the board that I just really talked to a person in the NRCS building down in St. Albans.
I'm sorry, what was it?
I was talking to a person today from the NRCS, and they moved their building in that government building across the road from the school there, the post office. And they've been in there, I don't know, 4 years or 5 years. Right now, as they're physically working in there, they're doing lead abatement. And she said it's really hectic right now, so it's like, well, it may not be a bad idea to do this before any bodies are in this building.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it might
Just
cost.
do it all. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Polly, on the lead dust sweep thing, are we picking the person or is regional?
Is regional what?
Picking the person that cleans.
Oh, picking the person, so I believe it's regional and the LED guy are gonna work on those bids to pick one to do the work. And that's a good question, actually, Tara, I don't know if it comes back to you guys to give it the final approval or not, I can ask her that.
There's probably not a lot of companies out there that do that.
Probably not.
Exactly, and
Well-
because it's grant funded, it has to be off one of their lists.
Right.
Okay,
Not the same list.
remember
Yeah.
the little magnet thing? Where people over in Bridge here? That's what they do.
To do that?
Yeah, so that's a good question, I can ask her that tomorrow. Whether
Okay.
it comes back before us, or do we just sign off and they handle all of it, I'm not quite sure.
And you need Larry to sign one of these if they approve, right?
What's that?
Larry needs to sign one of these forms.
Yes, the grant application, on the back. Pierre's the first one, have him take a look at it, he'll know which one it is. It's the second page, I think. And it just needs Larry's signature.
And the thing is that with those guys removing the caulking and everything like that, are they plywooding the windows or, because when they remove the caulking, what's gonna happen to the windows?
I think they're
I have
taking
no
them
idea.
After replacement?
And that's another thing is I wonder if they're probably gonna coordinate with whoever your builder is.
Right,
Yeah, that's what I would think, and then they would pull it out as he's putting it in. I don't know.
Oh, this is.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
This is the
That
revolving
guy's
one.
gonna
Oh,
do
let me
that.
see if I have the, I don't have
yeah, which is gonna mess up everything.
Right.
This is
Unless
not
he
the
went
right
through and
one.
did a whole
I-
bunch of windows and then
the revolving
There,
loan
that's it.
fund.
Yeah.
Or,
I'm sure
or I
next
don't
day
think I printed the right.
may
Mary
have to
printed
just
these
ply
for me
them
and I think that is
To
incorrect.
make little frames and
Yeah.
put plastic
depends
on.
on where these guys are coming from and what their plan is too.
Esther, I'll say it, sorry.
Go ahead, Polly.
ARPA money, I mean, you can definitely use some of that if you wanted to. I mean, we have the loan. But that ARPA money, you can absolutely use for like, air quality. And I wonder if that would kind of go into that category around air quality.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So once they approve it, once we
So
approve it.
Greta would be able to answer that, or?
Yeah. Here, let me make a list of what I'm gonna ask her. ARPA money, do they come back to us for a final approval? Was there something else?
Who's the contact person once it's approved? They contacting us or are they contacting you?
The grant, probably, I've said that I'm the point person, but I'm assuming it'd be both of us, I don't know, that's a good question. Okay, ARPA, final approval. Who gets the final approval? Okay.
And who is going to do it? Was that also included?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Jess.
Oh, hi Polly, I'm good, how are you? I hope you feel better.
Yeah, thanks. Oh,
Hey Polly, we got maple whoopie pie tonight.
Alright, who was going to do the work and will they coordinate with Builder? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I can ask that. So are any of those things gonna stop you from signing it, you think, or what are your thoughts?
I don't think so.
I think we need to keep going forward, I mean.
Right.
This is,
I think so.
Just do it.
if we had to build a new building, it'd be a lot more than what
Exactly.
we're looking at
And
right
we do
now.
have these pots of money where we can pull from.
That's, yeah, it could, I think it'd be well worth spent, we can pull some of that money for this.
Yeah.
Because then we can actually use some regular money for, what we set aside for this building to do improvements.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Uh,
Sorry. So yeah, just sign that and have, and BJ, if you could, you'll just, you can send that right to Greta if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a motion on this?
yeah, we're gonna need a motion, but before we lose Polly there, Pierre's
gonna call her after.
gonna begin with you, as he's gonna be the,
The authorizing agent.
yes,
For the Opera House.
for the Opera House, to get into
The grant portal, they said that,
Portal,
that
there
you
you go.
got them in, or you cleared the path for them to get in, and they waited too long and they timed out again.
No, that's not true.
That's what they said. Just today.
because that's not true. Because, oh my god.
Yeah.
We've removed the timeout date. So maybe, I don't know, I'll check into it. I removed the timeout date so that they wouldn't get timed out.
Okay, well, they thought they were.
I'll give the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe I did something wrong.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, so Pierre's gonna catch up with you on all that.
So,
Yeah, we can meet too at some point. Maybe we'll have beers at McClurk's and I'll show you how.
Oh, I wanna be the
That's probably not
I wanna
be
be
a
the
good
contact. Do you need an assistant
So that's
there?
our next meeting?
Yeah, funny. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll be in touch. Or you be in touch when you have time. Your schedule's more screwy than mine, I think.
She's talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
good.
thanks Polly.
Alright,
Feel
Thank you,
better.
see ya.
Bye.
take care.
I'm gonna see what else Greta sent, because that's what Mary printed, so maybe that was the only, maybe there's someplace on there that.
There is a spot.
What's her phone number?
Right
Okay,
here.
just a second.
On page 5, that's,
But the
That's
front
all
part
right.
of it says that it's a loan thing, and it's not, we don't want a loan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she said page 2.
I know, I took a look on the second page, I didn't see nothing.
She said you would recognize it.
Who stapled this anyways?
The machine.
Maybe that page that Larry's looking at is page 2.
No, it's
No, it's
number
page
5.
5.
This is part B, I wonder if there's a part A.
Alright, you guys seen anything?
BJ's trying to find it on her phone. We still can make the motion and accept, just, if it's not this one, I'll just have to sign this one in the office.
Oh, this looks like it is the right one, the other ones are just spreadsheets. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, but.
I'll move.
And she said,
And this is
there's no place to sign that page.
cleanup fund for the,
I know, that's what I.
cleanup fund for the.
I'll second.
So Pierre made a motion, Jessica second that motion to do an application for the cleanup for the armory, for the brownfields, I guess. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Been approved.
Would be here, right? No, that's
I think it might be this certification.
okay.
Yeah,
Because the other page before that was about the loan. And it says for loan applicants only, but we're not getting a loan, so I think that's the next page.
Got it.
Okay, so she was just.
so where does
mistaken.
Bora, I would print my name, let's see.
Right.
You know, Pierre put his on here, the
Sure.
Bora.
Yeah.
And if it, you'll know, he sent it in, if it ain't right, it's gonna come by. Alright, we need to go back to,
Shall we-
did you have some more stuff, Jesse?
No, no, I
So we
don't.
need to go back to Joey's, he had the emergency management plan.
What's our time frame in this?
He said to take it with you, review, bring it back to the 4th, he would like to get it sent in. And review it at the next meeting that we have. We're already overdue on a couple of things. Not this particular item, this one needs to be in by May 1st, I think.
This one?
Yes, but
Okay.
there is one thing that regional, I guess, dropped the ball on, and it's the one that comes up every
This one?
5 years. No, nothing in there, we don't have it in front of us, so
Oh, okay.
Sean Coleman's supposed to be getting it together for us to do, because it does kind of slow down the process if you are eligible for grants. If you don't have that in place, it's one of those things that goes against you. But it's nothing that you have in front of us tonight, he's going to get it to Joey to get to us.
Okay.
So that is what you need to sign to make Jesse Weatherwax still, you did the motions last week.
Yeah,
But the CUD has a paper form that they want signed, I don't know why. Most of them just take people's, the board's words or minutes or something, but they have a form.
So this is just for review for next
So-
meeting?
Right, so
we-
you're gonna look through it and you're gonna be
Okay.
like, oh, I know that this is, like, if you know one particular thing, and that person's not in charge of that anymore.
Okay.
You're gonna highlight it or scratch it out
Yeah.
and then tell us,
on this, should I put last week's,
yeah.
the 14?
He just this address, are we gonna wanna go through and put our, if we've got cell phone numbers?
Only if you want to share with the public, because those get put on the public website. I personally wouldn't,
Okay.
because you can literally go onto a regional planning's website and find this. Gotcha.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what else to sign in here. Alright, so for Joey, he's not gonna give us highway updates, the truck prices, loader updates. So he doesn't have all that, but he has,
No, he has those things that need signatures.
has a annual financial plan on town highways that we have to do every year. So it's based off his,
Based off the budget that you guys
Budget.
put together,
there's two?
there's, yeah, a couple different pages of them.
Okay, this is, okay, and this
One's
is,
standard and one's.
that's a standard, this is a financial
financial,
plan.
Yeah.
So first, we'll need to make a motion, I guess, to accept each. For the financial plan,
I'll second.
motion is by Phil and seconded by Pierre, to accept the annual financial plan. Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So basically, it goes off of all this information here, and it divvies up to how much they, state pays for mileage and stuff, and the information from the budget would be right here, and it comes to this total research and stuff like that. Something we need to do every year.
Seems pretty like a standard.
It is a standard
Yeah.
plan, sometimes it does
Yeah.
come into play when you have a disaster. You have to have these plans in place to
Mhm.
qualify and also help determine your expenses and what they'll cover.
And we also need to adopt certificate of compliance for road and bridge standards and network inventory.
I'll make a motion to.
Jessica made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Phil seconded it. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor of accepting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll kinda go through
It's bad, yeah.
Sounds terrible.
this, local emergency management plan, if anybody sees anything that needs to be updated, we'll
I
discuss
did
it.
see
on April
one
4th.
thing, he had like a list of daycares, there was one that wasn't listed, it was a learning tree. Down here, I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
In or out?
Hmm?
In or out? Is it in or is it out?
Oh,
He
You gotta
said
put it
it's
in.
missing,
it's missing in here.
Oh, it's missing.
Yeah, I would think that would be an important one, the daycare.
yeah.
Not sure what that address there is, J.V. Drive or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find a lot through there, I mean, they do get changed every year, but sometimes they miss stuff. If you just like highlight it and make a note that, so then we'll come back in April.
It's, I have this one here, we
And
need
that
to
is
adopt this tonight.
Once
That's
you
part of
review that, then you okay, and they go into it.
So what's the name of that?
Learning tree. Learning tree. Yeah.
Should you hang on to this one then? Bring this one back?
Sure.
I don't leave that house.
Which is that? Are they gonna be out of there?
Not for a while, I don't think.
That's
Well,
what
not until at least October, I think.
October is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's when they decided.
Yeah.
I don't know where they've gone, next step, I have no idea.
Last I knew, they had an architect designing, and
Oh, so did they buy those lots?
they haven't bought them yet, but just getting the kind of site
Yeah,
plan.
so Joey will send the updates on all that information, unless he's already sent, like, on the loader, if you guys knew something like that, I can
No,
check
and
it
he
out.
said to tell you that he'll have that for next meeting.
Okay.
Alright, so going down the agenda, we got lawn mowing, and it says, Jeff Lawyer wants rec fields at fire station redid. So I thought we did everything for 2 or 3 years, no?
We did a 3, but he said, with the way things are.
Because of the gas.
So,
increase.
I did bring one of the last year bills, so you could see what he was paying getting paid per time.
What is it?
305.
305?
Mhm.
It's not really enough.
It's a lot, it's a big area.
It's 8 hours and.
What are we comparing it to?
Nothing to compare to, just saying that if, depending on what the decision, we probably should go into executive because it's contracts anyway.
Alright, so I'll move, we go into executive,
A second.
as for the purpose of, contract bids.
Pierre made a motion to go executive to discuss contract bids. Jessica seconded that motion. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're going to executive at 7:52. Aye.
Alright,
All those opposed say nay. Alright, it's approximately 8:25, we're out of executive.
based on the results of the executive session, I move that, we accept as per discussion of the contracts.
Okay, Pierre made a motion.
I second.
Jessica seconded that motion. Any more discussion? I'm having none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Excellent. Alright, so this is,
So it looks like I'm good to go?
huh?
Looks like I'm good to
You're
go.
not supposed to say
You can go to the bathroom.
I can go to the bathroom now?
Yes,
Okay.
you can.
So we've got, just to let you guys know,
Let me go home.
the ARPA money for, the ambulance from the village portion has been received. What do you think the village on that? Okay,
Those
so,
are suggested rate changes for our billing company for the ambulance.
so this is from them?
They are showing what, the typed actual ones are what they currently bill for us based on what we're able to do. And the pencil marked in ones are suggestions from the former director before he was done. What he's suggesting, we mark them up to. So if it's passed, make the motion and then I send that recommendation on to the billing company and they start charging them.
Yep. I think we need to do that, seeing we haven't, probably been quite a few years since we've done any
It
rate
happens.
changes in lieu of, all the prices and everything going up. Oh, this goes with it. So not every item is
we wanna kinda make,
so this must be the cover sheet of the, so, where's the base rate? Make sure these are kosher. Current rate is 500, 600, so there's pay 429.
I think that should be, I should think there should be more than that. That's what I mean, 184. In Newport,
Oh, where'd you get that?
from
Oh, really?
yeah,
How much?
yeah,
8?
yeah. And that's why it's one of those of, if you go through,
Should we put this on hold and let me call them and ask them what's the maximum we're allowed right now? And then I didn't realize there would be a discrepancy of what he suggested to what you had a sample of.
right,
I just assumed
It might need.
somebody was in the know more than I
Right.
was.
because it's one of those of, let's see. I don't know, maybe wanna find out what some of the others are charging.
You wanna do a picture of this and then you can do some hunting and BJ can do some hunting and we can just table this to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. These are the electrical estimates that we've talked about. We're gonna try to find out if we got any more estimates for the Opera House and bring that on our next agenda. And this is,
That is a sample of somebody, it's not a sample, it's a photocopy of what somebody actually, a number of calls that somebody had to go, trips to the hospital by ambulance. And they're asking for the rest of the portion that's covered by Medicaid, Medicare, to be waived due to hardship.
oh, so this is the actual application asking us to waive it.
With copies of the bills and the amounts, and you can see that some got paid for, and there's, you can see right here how the balance is this much.
It's, yeah,
From
it's
this
like
date.
a,
Rice Krispie Square?
it's almost like a maple candy,
And then the next page is
Yeah,
a different
Oh.
trip
Maple
and a
candy sugary.
different amount.
but I think it's probably oatmeal.
Oh, okay, so we're not talking,
Like
No
sugar.
bake.
And then
Yeah,
the
it's like no
financials.
bake, but it's
So
like a
it's not-
sugary
this is how
maple
much
candy thing.
But I don't have the
Don't
power
know
to
anybody
say.
know what I'm talking about.
okay, so we're talking.
It's just little bits.
Yeah, we're talking. $350 or so.
Mhm.
$350.
Overall, it's just a
Yeah,
lot.
overall, some different
Mm.
calls that this person is with hardship, with low incomes, asking for us to
Mhm.
forgive.
We don't have to set a precedent with that, do we?
And not the only part of the.
So the total that they're asking to dismiss is up.
There's 3 pages and
There's
there's
3
little,
Well,
the same, there's
133.
different amounts on each of the 3 pages for different trips.
No, TV.
So what they're saying is Medicare paid,
And they don't have the funds to pay the balance.
I thought it was always, this is all you get with Medicare.
That, well, basically, but, so this is all you get from Medicare, but then we bill the patient, that's why we have that subscription, and if they had the subscription, it wouldn't have been anything. Maybe we should, maybe waive it and say, we suggest for next time, maybe you do a yearly subscription.
Would a subscription take care of that?
Yeah, it
It would.
wipes the balance out.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
In lieu of this, and actually the subscriptions are coming up, right?
Yep.
In lieu of the hardships and going forward, we will do this on a condition,
that you must purchase,
purchase
from
an
How much
here
is
on out,
that?
you must purchase
annual
an
subscription.
annual subscription and then explain to her that $75 or $100 will take care of any of these.
She can go 10 times, it's still. gonna take
Exactly.
care of it.
And I think that would probably be a,
So
be a
they-
great gift
Her
for
insurance
Christmas
will-
from her
Even
kids.
if she didn't have insurance, it
Right.
would be wiped, would be disappear.
Wow.
That is a good deal.
Mhm. I think that's a good idea. Seems pretty fair for a trade.
Yeah.
Can we so-called table this for now?
Cat, I mean, we wanna check in on how the other towns do it?
Yeah.
Okay. In the letter from the library trustees, you pretty much have accomplished everything that's on there, except for the one question that I guess we kind of overlooked, or I might have overlooked and didn't point out to you, is that they're asking for, I don't have it right, I believe
10-person hours?
10-person hours, so they, it wouldn't be one person getting all the hours, they have 4 people on their staff, and they would divvy it up accordingly.
2.5
And like,
hours a week.
I guess I can see their point, because like we've seen here with our incidences, they don't wanna leave one person in the library by themselves, especially near closing time. And it does become a safety
It probably
issue.
needs to be manned with a couple of people anyways, doesn't it?
Well, I think
No.
so.
Not really, but.
I mean, there are busier times than others.
Oh, okay, so this
But
is,
but for safety's sake, at the end of the day, when you're closing,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do feel that
Do they do their own cleaning and stuff like that?
they have been,
They
yes.
have, so I guess that's, somebody could be doing that for whatever.
so basically the library's asking to extend it. To add
10 hours.
10-person hours per week. The staff can spend more of their time helping people and make sure there are at least 2 people working in the library after dark. Currently, they have 105 person hours per week, so they're going to 115 from 105.
They don't need a motion on that, do they?
Mhm.
You do? I'll move.
I'll second that, so we're good.
Peter made a motion, Phil seconded that motion to add the 10-person hours to the library. Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Alright. And so all we have left is 2 warrants.
Adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
So, Ken, I'll move to adjourn.
A second.
Phil made a motion to adjourn, Jessica seconded that motion. Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Sit down, we got warrants to sign.